All right, y'all. Sorry I couldn't be there today to help you out, but I wanted to at least record a quick video on how to kind of plan your essay for your final. I wanted to make sure that it was coming from me so that the sub didn't have to try to figure anything out for you. I'm going to try to answer all the questions that you might have about it in the video. And I will be back on Tuesday. So you guys will be able to ask me questions that I don't answer on Tuesday. So the goal of your essay is to answer this essay prompt right here. So how do Code Tucker, Grave of the Fireflies, Sadako and the Paper, A Thousand Paper Cranes, and either Night or the Diary of Anne Frank show the effects of war and conflict? What do these stories help us understand about the human spirit? Those of you who are reading Night or read Night, you will do Night. And those of you who are watching the film Grave of the Fireflies will do Grave of the Fireflies. You do not need to worry about Sadako and the Thousand Paper Cranes or the Diary of Anne Frank unless you were the person that was assigned those texts. So don't worry about that. It is a 4-paragraph essay. So what you need to know is it's 4 paragraphs. I have a checklist for each paragraph to help you plan your essay. This document is not your actual essay. I want you to type up your actual essay. This is just to help you plan out quotes, sentence stems, things like that. It's there to help you out with writing, which should make it theoretically easier. One of the things I want you to understand is that each paragraph should have at least one piece of text evidence, a quote or a specific event from each text or film. So you might ask, Mr. Nelson, how am I supposed to quote the film? What I'm going to ask of you is with the film, I don't want you to have a specific quote. I want you to have a specific event, right? So in Grave of the Fireflies, since we watched it today, you might be able to say, hey, one of the specific events that happened was Sadako and Seita's mom dying. So that would be an example. And when we get to that portion for the summary, I'll talk about that a little bit more. But for now, that's what you should do. So the first paragraph of your essay is going to be a summary. The first 3 paragraphs of your essays are going to be summaries. The first summary is a summary of Code Talker. And next to each of these things, I have how many sentences you need, and I have sentence stems for you. So you should introduce the main character of the text. So the first thing you're going to do, introduce the main character. In the book Code Talker by Joseph Bruchac, the main character is blank. I will help you with this, Ned the Gay, right? We can check that off. And that means we can check that off. Then your next piece is going to be a brief summary. Brief means short, 1 to 2 sentences, right? I don't need you to tell me the whole story of Code Talker. Just give me most important events. Okay. On Google Docs is where you will fill out this paper. So I'm not going to have, you can delete the line and just type underneath. Once you have that, you should be able to check it off. How does the main character react to war and conflict? 1 to 2 sentences again. Okay. This is just focusing on your main character's reactions in the text. After you get that done, you're going to flip it over or scroll down. And then you're going to find a piece of text evidence to support this, right? So a piece of text evidence comes from the book. So you're going to provide a quote or a specific example from the text. This should be 2 sentences. One should be your lead-in, right? So 1 sentence should be your lead-in. In the text, Bruchac states blank. And then you always end your quote with Bruchac, comma, page number. Once you get that done, you can check that off, right? And then you're going to explain your quote. How does that relate to the character's response to war? So this shows blah, 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 whatever you're going to say, right? That's your argument for your summary. And then you're done with your summary. Your second paragraph is going to be very similar. Your second paragraph is going to be a summary of either Grave of the Fireflies, if you watched it, Or if you were reading Sadako and the Thousand Paper Cranes, that is going to be what you're going to do your summary on. Again, introduce your main character or characters. In the film Grave of the Fireflies by Isao Takahata, the main characters are Sadako and Seita. Or, sorry, not Sadako. That's from Sadako and the Thousand Paper Cranes. So in the film Grave of the Fireflies, Seita and Setsuko, they sound the same or similar. So Setsuko and Seita, right? Again, what happens in the movie? 1 to 2 sentences. Brief summary. After you're done with your brief summary, I don't want all of the information. Just give me 1 to 2 sentences of what the main important things are. And then your argument, right? How do the characters respond to war and loss? If you want to focus 1 sentence on Seita, 1 sentence on Setsuko, that's totally fine. If you want to focus on Setsuko or just Seita, you can. It is up to you. But here you're going to explain their response to war and loss. After you're done with that, you're good. Now, here is the text evidence that I said I'd bring back for you guys. I'd explain how to do the text evidence for a film. So you're not going to reference a textual piece like you did above for Code Talker. You're going to reference a scene or a specific moment from the film. And if you don't want to include a quote, if you don't remember what they said, you don't have to do in the film this character states. You could say, in the film, comma, character experiences blank. And the way I want you to reference that in your paper is parentheses Takahata, and that's it. You don't have to give me a scene. You don't have to give me a timestamp or anything like that. I just want you to give me the experience and his last name. And then once again, you're going to have your explanation. This shows blank, and this should reference back to their response to war and loss. So if you want to talk about Seita's experience with losing his mom in the first part of the film, you can absolutely do that. The last piece you're going to be writing about is either Night or the Diary of Anne Frank. Those of you who are doing Sadako and the Thousand Paper Cranes, you're going to just change this out for, instead of film, you can say short story, right? So I'm going to use the pink for Sadako and the Thousand Paper Cranes. And make sure you just change the titles, right? Swap out the titles instead and swap out the author, right? And after that, you're going to go down to the third paragraph. This is your third summary. This is your last summary that you're going to write. So it's either going to be Night or the Diary of Anne Frank. And here, I have given you another sentence stem, right? So for me, I read Night. I didn't read Diary of Anne Frank. So what I'm going to write about is Night. So I'm going to introduce the main character. In the book, Night, by Elie Wiesel, the main character is Elie Wiesel, right? He is the author of the memoir. It is his book. So you are going to introduce him as the main character. Next, flip it over or scroll down. What are they experiencing during the war? You don't have to summarize the book for this one because I want you to talk about the actual experiences. You can focus on the main experiences that they're going through, right? What experiences do they have during the war? You could talk about anything under the sun, maybe focus on one event, or if you want to focus on 1 or 2 events, that's totally fine. It is up to you. It is your paper. Once you're done with that, you're good. What stands out about their feelings or actions? So this is a little different question than what we had for the first 2 summary paragraphs. So what stands out about their feelings or actions? And how does that impact the way that they saw the war? How does how do their actions or feelings impact the meaning of war, right? Here, you're going to find another quote or event, maybe one of the ones you talked about up here. And you have another two sentences. So in the text, author states blank, either Frank or Roussel, and a page number. This shows blank. You're going to give me an explanation. Okay. So after that is all said and done, you are done with your summaries. You don't have to summarize anything else. And honestly, if you look, each paragraph for your summaries is going to be maybe 2, 4, 6, 7 sentences at the max. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sentences at the minimum. So 5 to 7 sentences per summary paragraph. Our last paragraph is our most important paragraph because we're kind of bringing it all together. We are synthesizing in this paragraph, right? That's what synthesize means. It means to bring it together. And one way we can do this in 7th grade is by doing a comparison paragraph. So what I want you to tell me in this paragraph is which two texts will you compare, right? For me, I think I would do Night and Grave of the Fireflies just because those are the most important texts to me, right? The ones that I got the most enjoyment from. So Grave of the Fireflies. So which text will I compare? Grave of the Fireflies and Night. In Night and Grave of the Fireflies, then you're going to kind of talk about the characters, right? We already know who the main characters of both texts are. You don't need to restate that. You don't need to say it again. What do the characters in these stories have in common? Both Seita and Ellie, and then explain what they have in common. One thing they might have in common is they both lost their mom. How are their experiences or reactions different to this scenario? What changed? How were things different for them? How was Seita's experience different from Ellie's experience? Explain that to me, right? One sentence for your which two texts you will compare, 1 to 2 sentences for what they have in common. And then what I want you to do is talk about how their experiences are different. While Seita and Ellie are similar, blank, right? While Seita and Ellie have both lost their mom, maybe Seita deals with it in a different way than Ellie did, right? And I want you to at least have 1 sentence for that, if not 2. If you want to expand a little more, you can. The last piece, this is really your meat and potatoes of the essay. What do these stories teach us about people during war? This is your argument, right? This ties back to every single piece, like this and this and, oh, wrong page, and this, right? So the yellow, it ties back to this last paragraph. So what do these stories teach us about war? This is 5 sentences. So your last paragraph is going to be a little longer. It's a minimum of 8 sentences and a maximum of 10. So 8 to 10 sentences for the last paragraph. So both of these stories teach us that blank. And I want you to make your point, argument of some sort, right? What do you personally think that both of these texts that you're analyzing up here teach us about war or people during war? Okay. Then you're going to try to support that using text evidence, as always. So text evidence from first text can be from Night, right? Text evidence from first text can be Grave of the Fireflies. I would try to keep whatever order you put them in here and here the same as down here, which I didn't do. I put Seita first, which is tied to Grave of the Fireflies, but that's fine. Focus on what events you're going to talk about based on your argument that you make. Okay? So text evidence from the first text in Night. Elie Wiesel says blank. This helps us see, connect it to the argument. Okay, then once I'm done with that, I can check it off. Additionally, in blank, text 2, so for me it would be Grave of the Fireflies, so-and-so states blank, or this event occurs. Because remember, if you're citing the film, you don't have to give me quotes. I just want specific moments or references to moments, right? And if you're confused and using Grave of the Fireflies, go back to that Grave of the Fireflies summary paragraph and look at how you cited it there. You should cite it the same here. Okay. This helps us see, once again, connect to the argument. Boom, boom. So your overall argument should connect to each character's emotions, feelings, actions, experiences in each of the texts. So if you're going to compare Ned and Ellie, cool, connect their experiences somehow. If you're going to compare Setsuko and Ellie, fine, do that as well. Or if you're going to compare Seita to Ned and Code Talkers, just find some sort of connection and latch onto that, hold on to that. That is the whole goal of this. The last thing you're going to do after you're done with this, I will give you 10 points as long as I see that you used this and you use the sentence stems that I'm providing. It's going to give you 10 points in the process grade. It's going to be part of your essay. And this should help you transfer from this document over to an actual essay. Okay. So what you're going to do after you're done with this, start writing your actual essay. Just take your first paragraph and write your actual essay. And then once you think you're done, once you think you're completely done, and this might be on Wednesday, this might be on Tuesday when I'm still here, go through this checklist. Your essay is a total of 100 points. It's a pretty big grade, right? Make sure that you have your synthesis paragraph structure done. My fourth paragraph clearly connects to the ideas from earlier, the experiences of the characters, the feelings of the characters. Then, boom, it compares and combines information from both texts. Make sure that you are using textual evidence or scenes or specific moments from each text. Then the last one, your paragraph should be organized, easy to follow. I gave you the structure that I'm expecting you to use, so use it. Boom. If you do all of those things and follow the rubric that I have posted and that I'll show you tomorrow, which is Thursday, May 15th, then you're going to do well. Summarize the text. Give an accurate summary of each text to me. Include the important ideas and extra left out details. Like, you don't need to tell me everything under the sun about Grave of the Fireflies. You need to focus on the important events, the important ideas. My summaries show I understood what I read/watched. I should be able to read your summary paragraphs and know, oh my goodness, Brecklin used textual evidence and she understood what she read because she gave me an accurate summary. I should be able to tell, right? Part 3, using text evidence. I should use at least one strong quote or example in each paragraph. And the asterisk here, the star here, last paragraph needs 2. Not one. Last paragraph needs 2 pieces of textual evidence, right? We can flip this over. Each piece of evidence supports my ideas. I don't want you just telling me this event happens and it doesn't relate to anything that has to do with the experience of the characters. So relate to the experiences, feelings, actions of characters. And then explain why the evidence matters. Tell me, why does it matter? Why is it important? Right? That is your, this shows us that portion. Tell me why I should care. Right, your fourth section, comparing and contrasting. I made a clear comparison between at least 2 texts, right? You should be comparing the 2 texts. You should not just be contrasting. I explained how the texts are similar or different in a meaningful way. Don't just tell me, oh, the texts are similar because they both lose their mom. Yes, that is what happens in Grave of the Fireflies and Night, but that doesn't give me any deeper meaning, right? Meaningful way is important here. My ideas, though, show thought and effort. You guys know that one of my biggest rules in my classroom is always try your best. Just do your best for what it is. This is that spot where you can do that. Okay, grammar and mechanics. I checked my spelling, my punctuation, and my sentence structure. I provided sentence structure for a lot of these sentences for you. So you should be completely solid on the sentence structure. Punctuation and spelling, you have no excuse if you're using Google Docs. If the little red line pops up, it's not spelled correctly. If the little blue line pops up, it means you got some grammar wrong. Small mistakes are fine, but make sure that I'm able to actually read your essay, right? Make sure that you can actually read the essay and it sounds like a complete thought. Please don't turn in your copy pasted draft from this to your essay. Make sure you revise and edit your drafts. We'll talk about this on Tuesday when I come back, but please make sure you revise and edit your drafts. And your essay should be in Times New Roman, 12-point double space font, whole thing. And if you want, proper header. This is just going to get you ahead for 7th and 8th or 8th grade and 9th grade and high school all through. So remember, it's your name, teacher name, class, and date. Okay, once you get that done, you can check that off. Your grammar and mechanics are done. And then remember, I said this assignment itself, this little document that we're filling out here together, is a planning document, and it is a 10 points separate assignment. So as long as you do this and I see that you put effort into it, you're going to get your 10 points. Turn in your planning document. Hit submit. I have it attached on the same thing as your actual essay, so you should be able to hit submit and you should be good. I used my essay or my planning document to organize my thoughts and plan my writing. This means use the stems I give you. If you don't, it's going to show me that you didn't use this planning document, right? I gave you some specific things that I'm looking for. And if you don't use them, then I'm not going to give you credit for this because I'm trying to help you out. I'm trying to get you to an 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade level for writing. And I think this will help you out. The last thing I'd suggest you do, this is just a big tip for any essay you ever write. Read your essay out loud before you turn it in. If something sounds kind of funky or confusing, fix it. If it doesn't sound right coming out of your mouth, fix it. You can also do this with peers. Read to peers. I hope this helps. If you guys have any questions, I will be back on Tuesday and Wednesday to help you with your essays. I hope that Monday goes well for you guys. And if you need me, you can always feel free to email me. And I will be back for Claw, so you can come talk to me in Claw if you need help. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend and rest of your Monday. See ya.